Okay, we're going to walk through a few different commands and tools you can use to create three-dimensional forms from two-dimensional sketches. We really just kind of talked about revolving, or sorry, well, we did talk about revolving for the ring, but we also talked about extruding. You have two other options that I want to touch on, which are loft, and actually I do want to talk about revolve again, but a little bit differently than we did for the ring, and also how to bring in an image that you can kind of use as a reference image to kind of trace around. If you're creating a box for a specific purpose, like this is the box I'm going to walk through for our like extra help step-by-step tutorial video for an Xbox controller. It's kind of more of a joke approach to this project, but yep, we're going to walk through that for the step-by-step. And this video is going to be much more just like showing you the techniques that you have as options to use. So first we're going to discuss Loft, which is right here under my Create menu, and it's basically a way to fill in space between two different sketches. So you can create like an extruded box, like this is an extruded box, will always, unless you alter it later, have like walls that are perfectly perpendicular to your top and bottom planes. So that's totally acceptable. Same as in this was an extruded box. So walls perpendicular to the top and bottom. But if you wanted a box that has a little bit more of an angle to it, we can use loft. So let's go ahead, and I'm actually going to use this same basic shape as part of my lofting, which is based off of, I don't know if you can see it, let me turn it off, canvas, my logo. So this is kind of a model for a ring box since I make jewelry, but I'm going to use that same shape in this loft example. So the first thing I want to do is import that the image of my logo to use as a template to create that shape. So I'm going to go to my insert menu right here. Oop. Drop it down, and I want to choose canvas. So that is a canvas in Fusion is just an image. So select that and then kind of find whatever image I have. I'm going to use my logo right there. It doesn't have to be high quality, it can just be a screenshot. So yeah, when I did this Xbox controller one, if you can see, I just took a screenshot from a controller, like from Walmart, just a picture of it I found online. So it can kind of be whatever you want. Insert canvas. Open that up, and then it's going to ask you which plane do you want to put it on. I'm going to put it on my bottom plane, and there it is. I do have the option to kind of alter it now if I want to, so I do prefer to rotate mine, and then I can scale it if I want to. It will automatically place the center of your screenshot on the global origin right there, which is really helpful when you are constructing. So I'm going to leave it there and not move it with these arrows. And I'm going to choose this corner right here and drag to scale. And I'm just going to make it a little bigger. I can see the size of it right here, but that's the entire size of my screenshot, so that is including like the white space around it. So I can calibrate this later to get it a little bit closer. So I'm going to leave it like that. I also have I don't know what the default is, but I have the opacity of my canvas down a little bit so I can kind of see through it, and that's really helpful when I'm sketching. If it's fully opaque, it's really hard to see your sketch lines over like a black image. So turn it down a little bit, or a lot of bit. I usually do like 30-ish. Okay. So that is placed on that plane. You can see it is a flat image. And now I want to go ahead and create my sketch based off of it. So I will go to create and create a sketch on the same plane. And then I'm just going to use my line tool and trace around it. For that Xbox controller, it is made up of all curved lines. So I used my spline tool rather than my line tool. So line, straight line, spline creates curved lines, which is this tool right here. And if you want to see that in action, it is a little frustrating to use because you can't necessarily immediately control the curve. You kind of have to alter it later. So if you need help with that, watch that Xbox tutorial extra help video. Okay, so there's my rough basic sketch. Oh, I forgot to calibrate. Okay. I'll go ahead and finish this because it's just an example, but if I were doing this for real, I should have calibrated my image first, which I will do. You can see I have a new folder with canvases, so all of my screenshots, or images that I import, will come into this little folder right here. I can title them, and if I right click on that, I can choose calibrate. And again, I should have done this before my sketch, but I just want to show you how. So instead of like selecting the edge of my image, I actually want to select the edge of my actual logo. So I'm going to click there, and then I want to click on the opposing side. And I could do from like side to side, I could do from top to bottom, but that's telling me it's a little bit under an inch. So if I were making this box and I wanted it to be 2¼ inches, I should stop doing that. Click on one side, click on the other, then I can type in 2¼ hit enter, and it will automatically adjust my canvas, and then I can model my sketch based off of that. So I'll pretend I did that. Okay, so I am going to be lofting here. So if I wanted to, I could just extrude this to create something like this box, right? But I don't want to do that, so I'm going to hit undo. I actually want to loft it to a different shape. So it's going to start out this shape at the bottom and then become a different shape at the top. It's maybe not the best example because it's kind of random, but so in order to do that, I need to create a sketch that is like up here in the air somewhere. And we haven't really discussed how to do sketches anywhere besides one of these 3 origin planes. And sometimes that's not the only place you want to do a sketch. So in order to create a sketch somewhere that is not on one of these 3 planes exactly, I can create a construction plane. So under construct right here, I can drop down, and there's like a huge variety of types of planes I want to make. I am just going to choose an offset plane for this. And I want to create a sketch that is on this same, is parallel to this one, just above it. So in order to do that, I want to select this plane, my bottom one, same one my previous sketch is on, and then I can kind of pull it up into space. Right now I can see that is like 1.7 inches above that one. So depending on how tall I want my box to be, right? I could do it like 3 inches above. I'm gonna make it smaller, 2 inches above, and hit OK. So now I have another plane up here which I can do a sketch on. So I can go ahead and go to Create Sketch and select this plane, so I don't have to choose one of those 3. I can choose that one. I do want it to like appear to be highlighted, right? These 3, they kind of turn gray, so I want to choose that one. And if I switch views, I can see that I am sketching like way up here and not down there. Okay, so now I can do whatever I want to. Wonder what I want the opening of my box to be round. I can draw a circle, finish that sketch. Now I can see that I have 2 different sketches, and now I can do my loft command. So create and loft, I can choose this guy and then this guy, and it will fill in the space in between them. It's kind of a weird shape object, but it's kind of like a popcorn bowl. And now, since I'm creating a box, I can go ahead and modify that and like shell that out to, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch, maybe less than that. It looks pretty fat. 1/10 of an inch. And then I could make a lid. I have a new folder over here for construction. So each new type of object I'm creating will get its own folder. So if I drop that down, I still have this plane right there. It's turned off, but I can do another sketch on that. Also, now that I have, never mind. So that is lofting. Okay. Let's do revolve. I want to turn this off. Pretend like I have a blank world, even though I have all this stuff that I've still done. I'm just going to ignore it and do a revolve command. So like we did with our ring, our revolve is going to take a flat profile, spin it around an axis. So we used it to create a ring, which was kind of like the opposite direction that we would use for a box. But this is a really good option if you want to make a more cylindrical box or a round box that is symmetrical on all sides. It doesn't have to have straight sides. So let's go ahead and create a sketch. Yeah, revolve's very simple to use. So I want it, because it's going to be like a little slice of my vessel, my box, I'm going to choose one of these 2 upright planes to sketch on, and then I'm just going to kind of make it up. If I wanted this to look like, if I was making a box for like a pear, so I wanted it to have the shape of a pear, I can insert a canvas, sketch around it. I'm just going to do a random shape, but I want to start here on my origin point, and this is my spline tool, so I'm going to make this curvy, and you can see that the line kind of curves for you. If it's not the exact curve that you want, we can kind of go back in and alter that. Okay. I'm going to say I'm done right there. I do need to create a closed-in profile, so a single line is not going to work, but let me first show you how to alter this. So if I wanted some of these curves to be a little bit different, each anchor point right there has these 2 little green orbs that I can use to kind of alter my curve change it a little bit. It takes a little bit of work to get used to how the lines move, because you can pull them outwards and also in for a tighter curve, and then you can kind of twist it as well. So kind of have to get used to that. I'm going to leave it small, and then if I want to, I can kind of create my wall thickness at this point, or I could just go straight over to my center, have a full solid thing, make a big solid object, and then shell it out. But let me undo that and create my wall thickness within my sketch. So, oops, I don't want to use a line. We go back to my spline. If I want like the top rim to be curved. So now I am trying to create, yeah, my wall thickness. So I'm trying to, as best as I can, mimic this other line so I have a consistent wall thickness. Again, it's a little bit difficult with the spline, and I'm going to use a straight line to connect this one and that one, and escape out of that tool. I can also move these. I don't know if I mentioned that. So I can move my anchor points around. I'm just going to kind of drag it to get it as close as I can, like a consistent thickness profile. I can move any of them that I want to. Okay, let's just do that. Finish sketch. Okay, so now I'm going to use my revolve command. This is the profile I want to revolve around an axis. I want to do it around my middle one right there, and I want to do it 360 degrees. Did I get I got an error. So let's see what it is. Oh, it's telling me that my sketch is actually overlapping the central axis a little bit, and that is why it is not revolving. So I'm going to go back in and edit my sketch and really zoom in on this section. Oh, there it is. So I want to pull that in. Okay. Revolve. You are my profile. You are my axis. There we go. So it is just spun it around 360 degrees, and I kind of created more of like a vase shape, which is fine if that's what you want to do. I might just also need to create like a little bit of a lid for that. So I can hit OK, and now I have a different type of shape that's not really possible to create using my loft or my extrude. So if you need a shape that is has a little bit more of a change in direction, a little bit more of an organic feel rather than these like straight-sided boxes, the revolve tool is going to be probably your best approach to this project. So yeah, those are kind of your options for creating the box: extruding, lofting, and revolving, and then again any combination of those. So in this Xbox controller box, I did use extrude, but then I used revolve in order to create the little joystick part. Yep. Ta-da! That's all. If you need more step-by-step help in order to like create the type of box you want, you can watch the extra help video to see how to go through this. And if you have any questions for your specific box that you're trying to make, please just send me an email. Ask me. I will be happy to help.